Yeah, well, today it sounds like you're getting nothing, but I mean, back then we were building the sport to become like NASCAR. So, we were the privateers, and we were, without me and Rich Taylor and them guys, there wouldn't have been a race. Like RJ and Wardy and all them. I never even, tried to beat those guys because they were the winners. But like we were the race, and all we wanted to do is get the sport to be like NASCAR, and we made it. Like I'm really stoked that I was part of that. But the way the money was, Suzuki gave me like, they would just throw me out the back door stuff. Like I would I'd get motorcycles and parts and a little bit of money to go here and there. And then of course they had their contingency program, which they would double it if you once things got better. Pat Alexander had like he would take his car over to my dad's Econolube over there in Lake Forest and get his tune-ups done. And then, so of course Pat would he made me my extra little bonus package if I got in the top 20, he'd double my contingency money or whatever it was. And then of course the dealership, Orange County Suzuki, they would chip in too. So I had all these people chipping in. So that's the only way it made it possible. And I'm so thankful because, like I said, I was the easy money. I didn't have to be Rick Johnson or Jeff Ward. I could just cruise and have a good time.
So you mentioned doing
no pressure.
stuff. And so are you racing Suzuki's and you're doing production and endurance testing for Honda like at times?
Yeah, that's what we were doing. Yeah, Honda pays people. They pay all these riders that are like right up there in the top that don't really have a ride, and they pay them to break their bikes. So you got like Jeff Pastana, me, Rich Taylor, Spud Walters, all kinds of guys like that. We'd be out there, and you got to do 3 half-hour motos, and that's how they make their they make the manual for the dirt bike. So they got their torque wrenches on every spoke, on every nut, and whenever something comes loose, they jot it down. And anyway, we're just supposed to be out there just not trying our hardest, but not just cruising around. But of course we're racers, so they take every lap time you get. So we're out there just fucking gassing it as hard as we possibly could. Like you're just hanging on. Like I can't even believe how hard I had to try to beat Rich. Like Rich was the guy at Honda, and I'd just be like hanging off the backs. It's like I can get it one more HP, just. But it was just a great time. But Rich was a hard guy to beat. But Honda would pay us, so they would pay us to break the bikes, and that was the way I looked at it, like getting paid to train during the week, so I can go break their bike, work out, and then fly into the race, ride to Suzuki, get in the main event, and I got a couple grand, and boom, I'm on my way.
So would it jack you up riding the Honda all week for endurance stuff, and then jumping on a Suzuki, or was it all right?
No, I could ride anything. I rode like 4 different bikes one year. I had the Yamaha going, I had the Suzuki going. I rode over to Europe. In Germany, I was like factory Cowie over there, and then I'd go to Switzerland, and I'd be like the Suzuki Switzerland factory team, whatever it was. I forget the name. I rode them all. But I remember my brother asked me one time down in Florida. He's like, "How are you doing? You rode the Yamaha last night, and now you're racing freaking Suzuki today." I'm like, "Charlie, it's nothing. It's like riding a bicycle. Don't think about it, and you'll be all right."
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So did you, at some point, from what I know, from talking to different people, Honda gives these guys like you and RT, they give you a chance for the endurance testing, like you said, 330s, and they monitor everything, and then they move you to production R&D stuff. That's kind of how it went for you.
Yeah, like I said, the 97 they came out with the aluminum chassis, and Rich was the main R&D guy. I was the lower guy. Me and Jeff Pastana, we were the next guys in line pretty much. But Rich was the main. They call you an evaluator at that point. Now durability is when you're doing the motos, then you become an evaluator, and that's what Rich was.
Yeah.
And they only had one of those. So McGrath didn't like the bike. Rich was trying to make it work, and it was just they hated it. So they both went to Suzuki, and boom, voila, I was the next guy in line. So I jumped on it, and it was great. I loved it.
So Rich tells the story. The original aluminum bike was really good and felt great. Unfortunately, the Honda back in Japan, they felt like it might crack, it may break down, so they had to gusset it and weld it and beef it up. And by the time production bike came, Rich was like, "What the hell is this? You guys screwed this up." Is that what you remember, Ray?
I think it might have been the other way around. I think Rich might have messed it up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember all the gussets and the cracks and the Jap guys down there, Japanese. You know, I love all those guys that are down there just grinding away. You know, they would just grind a little bit underneath like the headset, and like their bike would just change completely different or drill a little hole. But I remember Rich, it was like a big deal because that's when Dave had me coming in. Rich was still there with because I was learning while Rich before he went to Suzuki or whatever. And but yeah, I remember, what was I going to say? Dave Arnold was doing something. Oh, the linkage. There was like a big deal about the linkage because, like, I guess Rich blames Honda, but I don't know. I see it different. But Rich had to make this big decision whether they change the linkage or they don't, and it was like a big $1 million question. And Rich came up with, "You need to change it." And then all of a sudden it was junk after that. The bike came out, it was bottomed out everywhere. It was McGrath called it a lead pipe, but I'm not sure how it all worked out because I just got in there, but I know all year they were struggling with that thing, and then it came down to holding it out of production, and then but it was awful. But frick, I got that thing working. '99, we won the shootouts. Yeah.
No, it definitely, by the time, the 97 was rough and they just kept taking away material and making it better and better. And yeah, the bike definitely got better, at one point.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy working with Bill Orr?
Yeah, Bill's the nicest guy. He got me. I used to hate the desert. Like I'm from New Jersey. I like when it rains. I like good dirt. I hate the hard dirt. But like Bill, I hated going through the desert. And Bill's from Arizona. He's like, "Why do you hate the desert?" He's like, "It's beautiful." I'm like, "It is." And it's like we're getting flash floods that day and stuff. And he opened my eyes. And I started looking around. I'm like, you know what? The desert is beautiful. And like now I love the desert. Like I love to go to Palm Springs. Like I go out there every year and like just bake in the super hot summer heat. And I don't know, but like Bill made me Bill changed my attitude on the whole deal with the desert, which opened my mind to all different things in the world. You gotta like the things you don't like, and then you can open your mind and see what like enjoy the things you didn't like. Just enjoy everything.
Bill told me a good story of, like you said, they were always taking lap times, right? And you guys are always trying to be really competitive. Bill told me a story that you were cutting the track a little bit and to get out in the back, and then you disappeared for a while. And Japanese and Bill got on a bike and tried to find you, and you were cutting the track a little bit in the back, and then you hit something, and you broke a collarbone or
yeah, right.
Laying there.
That's freaking man. That's a long time ago. That wasn't
They were like, Sommo, what are you doing? You were just like, sorry, man, I was trying to get better laptop.
As I got the wind knocked out of me, trying to act like I'm not hurt.
Right.
Yeah, it was like I was out in Simi Valley, and like Jean-Michel Bale, and had the like JMB written really big on the hill. It was the hill where like Little House on the Prairie was filmed. They used to have a berm up around that tree where the little girl was flipping in the beginning of it or whatever, like rolling down the hill. But anyway, Honda had a track out there, and that was their Supercross track, the very first track they had. We used to go up there, but I remember Roger DeCosta was there that day, and like I was cutting the track, and Jean-Michel Bale had this like dug out. He didn't dig it with his hands or nothing, but like it was part of a cliff. But he like jumped up over the cliff off this like little takeoff, and like it was right next to where the track came down the hill. So I'm cutting it closer, and then I finally there's like a little 4-inch lip that went up into the cliff, and I hit that fucking thing, and man, it just tossed me so hard. I flew like 20 feet down the cliff onto my head, laying on my back, and going, and I remember just like trying to get up before anybody sees, and I couldn't. It hurt. I broke my shoulder blade. Huh?
Thanks, JMB.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That guy was great. I used to love watching him ride.
Was he one of the best riders that you've ever...
The best. Yeah. Him and Machine, but I think JMB might even be better, but it's hard to say because Ronnie never really put all the effort he could have into it. I don't think anyone thinks he did, but that's what made Ronnie so cool. But Jean-Michel Bale, he didn't try too hard either, I don't think. Dave Arnold says all he did was like play tennis, but that guy was super smooth.
Dave told me like when Stanton was there, he would just goof off and, like you said, ride the hills and do these stupid jumps, eat Kit Kats and all. And as soon as Stanton loaded up and went home, he would start doing motos.
Yeah.
That's what Dave said JMB would be like. So.
Yeah, like LaRocco, Stanton, they're meat and potatoes, just full blown, no fun at all, but at least Carmichael, he likes to have a good time a little bit, but like, you gotta have a good time. I don't know, but those guys, Stanton was just freaking, that guy was a machine, and he won just from pure strength, I think.
Did you get along with these guys? Like, did you talk to them? Were you buddies with them, or did you kind of keep the distance? Privateer guy / Honda
I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to think that I was friends with everybody because I loved everybody, but like guys like Stanton were really hard to become friends with. But I mean, we had a couple conversations, LaRocco and I did. But I remember Damon Bradshaw. He was the only guy like he's kind of weird. I don't know. Damon was on a 60 back in Virginia. I think it was. I used to go down to Virginia in the winter. And that'd be where Randy Jones was. But he was on a 60. Damon was, and he would like just come to my trailer and like want to hang out with me and like. And then all of a sudden, boom! He won. He got big. Got the factory ride. He won Japan Supercross or whatever. And then like I remember going to rent a car, and Bob Hanna was in line, and like I'm standing there at Avis after we flew into Colorado, I think it was, and I'm like, and this is like now probably, I don't know. Well, that would have been we were kids, probably 19. That would have been like 83 or 4, and now like and then he won the Supercross, whatever, 89. So we're talking like 92, back when I was doing good, when I got number 21. And I'm standing in line trying to get my car, and Damon was right in front of me, and he didn't even turn around to say hi, never said one word to me. And Hannah even acknowledged me, but Damon was too cool. And it sucks because I really like Damon, and I think he's fucking badass, but it kind of really bummed me out, because like Guy Cooper was there. Cooper's like, "What's up, Ray?" And Dave Arnold was there too that day, but like Damon, for some reason, I don't know what it was. I guess because I was better at him when I was on an 80, and then he became so much better that he was too cool for me. So,
by the way, Bill Orr still has your HRP
Honda. Yeah, he's got it. I remember giving that to Bill. I'm like, "Why don't you take this thing?"
I gotta get it back to Ray. He
Oh.
still got it.
That's fucking awesome, dude. I think that's killer. That's so killer. I had that Hannah jersey, man. I remember this girl, like, you remember John Savitsky? He was like a privateer factory, and Tony D, like, they were back in Pennsylvania. This girl, Lisa Eckert, I think her name was. She was probably a little pro-ho back in the day or whatever, but she was like, "I could get you Hannah's jersey." And it took her like a year, but she finally got that thing for me.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like it's a really cool one to have. So Bill's gonna get it back to you.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I think it's number 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Fly Racing RacerX podcast with Ray Sommo. Use the code PulpMX to save at flyracing.com. I want to thank the folks at motorsports.com as well. OEM and aftermarket parts. Great prices. Dedicated team of gearheads there to help you out. If you go through the banner on pulpmx.com and purchase something, it'll help us out as well. Great prices on street bike stuff, dirt bike stuff, mountain bike stuff, all of that, motorsport.com, and of course, Rental and Matthes as well. Ray Sommo here on the RacerX podcast. Ray, so you, like I mentioned off the top, I raced you, again, didn't race you, I was on the same track as you for some Canadian Nationals. You rode for Chris Morgan for a long time. You won the CMA Championship one year. How did you like your time up in Canada?
Oh, I love Canada. I mean, I would move there. Canada's awesome. Chris Morgan's awesome. It's just a great country. Everything's real clean. I don't know, but I loved it up there. Everything was just really bitching. But Chris Morgan, that guy.
Do you have any run-ins with rollerball?
I don't. Well, I think I might have back in the day, but I'm sure I did. That guy was gnarly. I guess I got a reputation as being kind of like a, I don't know, I ram India. I guess I could ram India and take you out. I don't know, but like I didn't look at myself like that. But I guess my son was out of the track and Doug Dubach and his son were out there, and they were all watching. And somebody got taken out right in front of him, and Doug turns over to my son and goes, "Oh, he got Sommo'd." I was like, "That's how Doug thinks of me." I didn't know these guys even freaking thought of me like that. That sucked because I never really.
I know. I always thought you looked really stylish, and you were in so many Fox ads.
Yeah.
You were always in Fox ads, which me as a kid, I'm like, that's fucking bitching.
Yeah, Fox is still the shit, but yeah, that was bitching. Fox is the best. I was stoked on those pictures you showed me today. I'm like, because I was thinking, man, I hope he doesn't take out a picture with my Biaffi helmet, my Smith goggles, and like just looking like my gear race wear, just looking for the.
When did you have gear?
That was when I had that factory Yamaha ride, but Burnworth, and Burnworth was on that team. Myers Kopp, Billy Frank, Eddie Hicks, Peter Minet, Bobby Moore. We were all on the same Yamaha team, and we all wore that gear race wear. And it was that was just horrible gear, but they were paying us,
You were stylish most of the time. You were stylish most of the time to me, anyway.
Yeah, well, that was '86, whatever. But we were in '87. But you know, they paid us, and that was what it's all about: getting paid to ride a dirt bike. What could be better?